ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोश्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। दुर्जनः सज्जनो भूयात् सज्जनः शान्तिमाप्नुयात् शान्तो मुच्येत् बन्देभ्यो मुक्तान् अन्यान् विमोचयेत्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। हरिः ॐ। Last talk I said about the importance of meditation, and it was the introductory part. So let me recapitulate what we discussed in the last class. And I said that meditation is a science, and science is nothing but knowing about the established truths, and there are many established truths. For that, scientists are studying, and they discovered many things. It means already they were there. And second, I said that science also proved that when we grow from gross to subtle, then what happens? The power intensifies, the utility intensifies, and when we grow from sthula to sukshma, its utility is more, benefit is more. That also I gave a number of examples. And third, though the matter possesses energy, the matter possesses innate capabilities or possibilities, but unless and until you know the technique, you know the method, so you cannot get the benefit of that. So for that also I gave a number of examples. And this is I said it is called object oriented science, that is physical science. So lifeless things, we see energy is there, strength is there, power is there, possibilities are there. Our ancestors, the spiritual scientists, so they thought, so what are the possibilities in a human being? What are the possibilities are there in this, the highest amongst the creatures, amongst the living things? So they are called the saints, they are called spiritual scientists. Just like physical scientists, they study the nature and they reveal the established truths, and we get the benefit of that. In the same way, the spiritual scientists, they study they studied this man. The physical scientists, they study the nature. They study the objects. That is called object-oriented science. But whereas the spiritual scientists, they study the man in depth. So study of man in depth is called spirituality. The study of knowing about the innate abilities of a man is called spirituality. The subject-oriented science is called the spiritual science. This is also I said yesterday. And the thing is, now we have enough comforts, number of scientific gadgets now we are fetching, but restlessness, depression, unrest, annoying nature is also increasing. So if you ask the majority people, they are not happy in real sense. If you ask anybody, how are you? So from lips they say, so I am fine, I am happy. But if you interact with him, after some time, it means 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or after half an hour, when there is more intimacy, then he starts revealing his problems. Yes. It is not with the person with less money or less comforts, but the person who had enough material, food, shelter and clothing, but even then, one way or other way, he tells that he is with problem. So it means the real happiness is not there. The human beings, they are striving in this world to attain that. They want everlasting happiness. They need happiness, means continuous happiness. That is the goal. Say for example, a person is there, X, let us think. And I say that I have power to give happiness to you. Then if I pose a question, so do you want happiness for half day or full day? Then he says that naturally, whole day I need happiness. Then again if you pose a question, to give, in order to give that boon, so you need this happiness, this continuous happiness, 15 days or 1 month. Then naturally he opt for, so I need happiness, everlasting happiness for 1 month. But if you ask 6 months or 1 year, it means 6 months happiness and 6 months unhappiness. Then he opt, so I need happiness for the whole year. But if you say that your lifespan is say 80 years, so the 40 years happiness, do you want only 40 years happiness? No, that. So the continuously, as long as I live, so long do I need this 80 years happiness, continuous happiness. That is the actual goal, everlasting happiness we need. We strive for that. Our attempt is for that. But we are not getting that happiness. Because last class I said, this is not holistic approach. It is incomplete. We know about the outer nature, but we are not knowing about our real nature. We don't know about us. That is, in Vedanta it is called as Dashamasya Gnanam. And one story goes like this about Paramananda Shishyas. So once the disciples of Paramanandaya, they directed to go to another village to bring a material. So they decided that, so let us go together. Let us serve the master, yes, collaboratively, not individually. So they decided to go. So it was obviously rainy season. And on the way, they happened to cross a lake. Then, of course, they were going together, but they got one idea. They thought that let us go, while crossing that, let us join our hands together, so that if anybody missed, we can find out easily. So they decided like that, and they crossed. So after crossing, they got doubt. Were we same number or anybody missed? So they started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Then he said, one of our friends missing. Then another guy said, you don't know calculation properly. Just you stand, then I count. And he too started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, and 1 is missing. Then third guy also, he said, you fool, you are poor in mathematics, so I am perfect, so I count. And he did the same. And ultimately they realized that one guy was missing. They started crying. So the person, he was going on the way, and he happened to listen this, and he came and he asked what was the reason, and they said the whole story. Then he said, he understood. Then he said, you stand in a line and ask them to count one person. You start with 1, second 2, like this, then 10. But earlier what happened? He counted all of his friends, but except him. Yes, he counted others, but he did not count him. And second guy also did the same. Third guy also did the same. He counted all others, but he least bothered about him. So our nature, our situation is also like this. We are studying everything outside. We are studying the nature. We are studying the matter. We are running after the world. We are running after the nature. But we are not studying about ourselves. So know thyself, it is called. So Prahalada said the same to his father, Hiranyakashipu. So you conquered the whole world, but you did not conquer you. Yes. And that is why you are restless, you are not happy. All our epics, or particularly Upanishads, they say that you try to know about you. Then your life is holistic. Then you know the technique of living happily. Yes, happiness is a state of mind, says Raghunathanji Maharaj. If you have that state of mind, whether you have less things or more things, you will be happy. So meditation gives that technique. It helps us to control the mind. So it is a pure science. Why it is science means? Knowing about you. You are knowing outside, you are studying everything, but you are not studying yourself. So have you ever thought? And you are claiming that matter has enough strength, enough power, capacity, but when you think of you think that I am hopeless, helpless, I can't do this, yes, and I am with many problems, I can't reach the goal. So there is a restlessness, unrest. Why it is so? You have enough capacity, enough possibilities as matter possesses. Yes, that spiritual science tells that. That is why Swamiji said, his teachings, he said, in few words I can put in my teachings in few words. My ideals can be put in a few words to teach unto mankind their divinity and how to manifest the divinity in day-to-day life. In one or two sentences he said, my ultimate teaching is that to teach unto mankind their divinity. So we have that divine power within us. So last class I said that divine chip is there. All possibilities are there. They are embedded. But we don't know. But why we don't know is we are not aware of that. Even if says we won't accept that. We accept that matter has energy, strength, capacity, possibilities. But when it comes to you and you say that we are helpless. Yes. So our spiritual scientists, they studied this. They discovered as scientists the established truths. So they also said that we are the divine personalities. That is why Upanishad says, Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudo atmana prakashati. They said in all bhuta means all living organisms, all things, that Atman, that soul is there. The source of happiness, the source of strength, the source of bliss, the source of capacities, the source of capabilities. That is there in the Atman. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudo atma. It is hidden. Na prakashati, but it is not manifesting. It is in dormant condition. Yes, if you know that, you will get Atmana vidyate viryam, they said. If you know about that Atman, you will get enough virya, enough power, enough strength. So, meditation is nothing but knowing about our innate abilities, study of man in depth. It is, in modern language, we call it as a science of human possibilities. In modern language, we call it as a science of human possibilities. So, when it is a complex structure, this body-mind complex, it is very complex in nature. So, we have this physical body and we have sensory organs, we have mind, and we have discriminating power buddhi, and we have panchakoshas. So, they studied this man in depth in all our Upanishads. It is a pure science. In that, you will, if you know that, if you study that, you will know about the real nature. And generally, if you ask, if you think of any object, they have some features. Is it not so? If you think a water, if you think of water, they have certain features, certain qualities. And if you think a fire has certain qualities, certain features. You take any object, it has certain features. Yes or no? Then, if you think of animals, they have certain features. If you think of, you take an example of a cat or a dog or a rat. Despite of the place, the area, the nation, the country, wherever it is. But if you think of the common features of all organisms, of all these animals, all cats, all dogs, yes, there are certain common features. The wagging tail and barking, yes, and attacking. And cat, in the case of cat, slow, it is what you call hunting, that rats, and walking without making noise, and the sound of that. So these are all common features. But what about the common features of human beings? If you think of that, what are the common features of these human beings? If animals you can say easily, yes, we can give number of examples. Immediately we start telling about that. But what about human being? What are the common features of this human being? What are then becomes the positive, not angry in nature, cheating, corruption, exploiting others. Yes, not all these the common features of the human being. The real man, if you say, if you notice the real man, the characteristic features or features of a real man, the actual man, then what comes? Adveshta sarvabhutara maitraha karunevacha nirmamo nirahankaraha. So all the divine qualities. Actually these are our qualities. Samadukha Sukhakshami. Yes, strong mindedness, study mindedness, all caliber, facing all possibilities, all challenges, all problems, gigantic will, strength of vigor, facing any problems, any challenges, and always joyful, happy, blissful. So, these are all our real nature. So, this is actually our real nature, but we are not aware of that. We don't know. So, how to get to this? So, that is called, how can we manifest all these possibilities? That is, the way is nothing but meditation. When you introspect your mind, when you go inward, when you penetrate into your own, then that the divine source of that happiness or bliss or possibilities, I said the divine chip, then it starts working. Just like the computer, I gave example. So just simply having computer has no meaning, and we should know how to open it and how to get the benefit of that and how to get the derive the benefit from that. So there is a particular method or technique. So in the same way, this meditation also that technique. Then what is that technique, and what are the ways and means? So one word, one sentence we can say, meditation is a technique to know, to reveal our innate abilities. So this is an established truth. In last class I said no. In the nature, number of truths are there. Already they were there. In the same way, the spiritual scientists, with their intuition power, they came to know that the man is not ordinary human being. Yes, he is not ordinary human being, ordinary person. There is a divine spark is there. So, when you know that and you lead a worthy life, a joyful life, a krutakrutya. So, in this creation, so whatever is created, say take for example a tree. Yes, it was created, and you observe the tree, whatever it is created, and it is fulfilling its purpose. The purpose of creation is fulfilling, and it gives shelter, it gives fruits, flowers, yes, and it gives shelter to many animals also, and it gives shade, we can take rest, and it prepares food, it gives oxygen, it absorbs carbon dioxide. Yes, sir, it was created like that, and till it extinct from this world, it is doing its work properly. Clear? In the same way, water was created, and it helps to wash clothes, for cooking, for cultivation, for bathing, washing clothes. Yes, the purpose is solved. Whatever it is created, and it was doing its work clearly. Yes, even if it evaporates, again it is coming down in the form of, again it is water. And tree also, after it extinct, yes, and we cut, and again we use it for firewood, we cook, and even for the last ceremony, cremation also it is using. But why man? In the case of man, have you ever thought? What is the purpose? Is it simply leading the life restlessly, with annoying, with problem, with tension, with depression, with helplessness, with hopeless life? No. That plant, though it is small or big, the purpose is being solved. But this ultimate product of the nature, we have enough possibilities, capacities are there, but we think that, then what is your goal? Yes. What way you have to lead your life? You have to lead a purposeful life, a meaningful life, a joyful life, but we are not leading like that. Though he is a beggar and he is rich, still he is running after this money, crores of rupees he got, but still he is not happy. So what is the reason behind it? But our real nature is that Satchitananda, ever joyful. God created like that, but we are not leading like that. Our life is not like that. So what is wrong with us? The only reason I said Dashamasya Jnanam, I gave example of Paramananda Shishyas. Yes, everything we are studying, but we are not studying ourselves. We are knowing everything outside, but we don't know about ourselves. We don't know our capacities, our real nature, our strength. That is, in Vedanta, otherwise, by seeing this tragedy of this man, they said, Siddhamannam parivrajya bhikshatanam mamam krutva. The ready-made food we gave up, and outside we are asking, we are begging. Siddhamannam parivrajya, readily available food, parivrajya. Yes, we kept aside. Then, bhikshatanam, yes, mamam krutva, we are asking food for ourselves. So you are the source of happiness, source of possibilities, source of divine bliss. But we are searching outside. We are knocking the door. We are asking one scientific gadgets, one TV, we are asking, please give me happiness. We are asking that house, please give me happiness, everlasting happiness. We are asking car, please give me happiness forever, everlasting happiness. Yes, this material we are asking. But our Upanishad is saying that, our ancestors, they said that is within you. So Ranganathan Maharaj said that happiness is a state of mind. So if you attain that state of mind, you will be happy with less things or more things. Swami Vivekananda says, the Western countries, they are striving to lead happy life with accumulating more and more and more. But India proved that we can lead a Krutakrutya life, the happy life, a blissful life, a satisfied life with less things. It is proved. With less things, we can lead a worthy life. That it is proved. If you think of Ramana Maharshi or Buddha, he gave up kingdom. It is not a joke. He gave up kingdom and he went to forest. And see the reason behind it. And in case of Swamiji, high intellectual, he conquered the America. Literally, he conquered the America, whole America. He would have been the professor. He would have been earned more money. But now he is just like a beggar, spiritual beggar. Spiritual beggar means he gives enough happiness, enough bliss to others, and he is beggar. Beggar in the sense, in materialistic point of view, he is not possessing anything. With least material, he is leading the life. But actually, beggars, what they beg, they get from others. But here, this Buddha, spiritual beggar, he gave up kingdom. And what was his food? 5 houses he asked. That's all, he is satisfied. But he is the source of immense happiness. Yes, he is getting little things, but giving what man is needed, what man is striving. The whole humanity is striving for that, so they give that. So they are not ordinary human beings. They are not what we call layman. Yes, they have enough intellectuality. So meditation helps us to derive that happiness, so that we get that state of mind. So this is knowing about our inner nature. Our inner nature. It is a spiritual science, a pure science. Even the physical science, still they are coming to the point. Still the research is going on. They have not come to a conclusion. They are not saying that, so I have, ultimately we discovered everything. There is no more to discover. There is no more to search for the truth. Still the search is going on. But in case of that spiritual science, they clearly said there is no further study. This is, they said, the soul is there and it has enough power, enough capacity, and you are not, your real nature is Satchit Ananda. Yes, and that is ultimate. So, this is about meditation. Meditation means it is a science, it is a technique, knowing about our real nature. So, unless and until you know about you and whatever you possess, and you never get happiness. It is not possible. Yes, impossible. Though you may have the wealth of the whole world with you, but even then you are not happy. It means the everlasting happiness is not from outside, it is you get from inside, it is within. So, now let us know the process of meditation. Now we have understood that the importance of meditation. Now we have understood how it is a science. Then, when science saying that, his spiritual science saying that you are the source of happiness, now a quest should come, yearning should come, that I have to get that happiness. I should lead a purposeful life, a joyful life, and happy life. Yes. So, for that, what we have to do? We have to do meditation. We have to start doing that. So, it is an experimentation. So, science then established truth is there, and you experiment and try to find out. So, in the same way, our spiritual scientists, they also said that all these things, just now I said, no, they said. Now what we have to do? We have to prove it. How? We have to experiment. So, where we do, generally scientists, where they experiment? Lab. They need some scientific gadgets, scientific equipments. Yes, a microscope or telescope, or some chemicals, some other things are needed to experiment. But in the same way, this spiritual science, what is the laboratory? Where is the laboratory? And what is the gadgets? What equipment is there? The equipment is nothing but mind. Mind itself is our equipment. With that mind, we start our experimentation. We do meditation. Yes, to be frank, the mind itself is a problem creating. The whole world is now facing problem only because of not handling the mind properly, not channelizing the mind properly. So, mind is not in our control. So, that is why we face all problems. Mana eva manushyanam karanamanda mokshaya. If you control this mind, and you will get blissful condition. Students, the problem, concentration problem, everything because of this mind only. And elderly people, the reason for unhappiness is that only because of this mind. If you control your mind, then naturally, then we lead a purposeful life. So, meditation help us to control the mind. Yes. So, if mind is controlled, then we lead a purposeful life and happy life. Yes. So, but it is a challenging, meditation is very challenging. Why means? We are using this equipment, mind as a equipment to do the experimentation, to do the meditation, and which is more problematic. The mind which causes problem, and with that only we have to do the meditation. So, now let us know how to do meditation. It is not simply closing the eyes. Meditation doesn't mean simply closing the eyes. And if you practice, you do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, No, it is not possible. Mind goes somewhere else, it wanders. Yes, you become more restless unless and until you know the technique, you know the method. So, now let us know the process of meditation. But before knowing that, we should know about this mind, the nature of the mind. Because, for example, we want to go somewhere else, we have to travel, and we need a vehicle. Yes, a vehicle. Then, to reach that goal, we use that vehicle. But we should know about that vehicle properly. It is not simply as knowing about only acceleration. It is not enough. And you should know about that vehicle. You should have the knowledge of that vehicle, about the clutch, about gear. Yes, what type of road and what type of what you call the speed, about speed, how much speed we have to maintain. Yes, and what gear we have to use in which speed. Yes, and you should know about the front brake and back brake. Yes or no? So, and reserve, if petrol is in a reserve, or on and off. So all these things if you know, then you handle that vehicle properly and you go happily. But simply by knowing just that, by seeing others, so he is simply accelerating and going nicely, and if you also think that, oh, it is so easy sitting on that, and just if you raise that, accelerate that, and you can go easily, that is not enough. That then what happens? Accident occur. Is it not so? So in the same way, we have to do meditation with our mind. With mind only we have to do the meditation. Then we should know about that mind. Otherwise, it is not possible. Just like I have given example of that vehicle. We should know all these primary things, prerequisites. If you know this, then you reach the goal. So this spiritual path, you have to reach the goal, the ultimate goal of man. And to reach that, then what? We should know about this mind, its nature, how it works, how the mind is misguiding us. So if you know that, so it is so easy to meditate. It means 30% of the work will be done. If you know about the nature of the mind, how it misguides, and what is the nature in awakening condition, how this mind is manipulating, how it is misguiding the people, how it causes problem, and if you know this, and it is very easy to do meditation. So before doing meditation, we should know about the mind and its nature. So in next class, we study about the mind and its how it works. Then we proceed further and the ways and means and process of meditation. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु. श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.